right, ladies and gentlemen, we're filming here on Monday, October 20th for Wednesday, October 22nd, and it is Wednesday night, so it's 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time here at FitToMentionRadio.com on Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio. It's time for 10 Cent Beer Night, the official sports show, and I'm Seth.
I'm Bob.
We're in good moods. We're in fall weather now. Officially, yesterday was our last shorts day.
It's chilly today.
Yeah, it's going to be all week. We're actually going to see some rain. We did not have very much rain in Northeast Ohio all summer. So this was a big deal. It's things are starting to look normal, and then with the fall kicking in, it means we're entering the heart of the fall season, which means high school is wrapping up.
Oh, this is week 10. This is the last week of high school regular season.
Yep. College is heating up. Ohio State won this past weekend. NFL is kicking, is starting to heat up a little bit. Browns did win. We have MLS playoffs. Columbus Crew won Saturday night. And then we will see a World Series this week. The Los Angeles Dodgers swept the Milwaukee Brewers.
Which kind of shocked me.
That did too.
I had Milwaukee going all the way, but
Dodgers since, do you remember, Bob, we talked, it was probably in August. There was a no-hitter that got blown in the 9th inning, and the Dodgers ended up losing that game. We briefly talked about it. Since that game, they've been 27-7, and they went 9-1 against the National League in the playoffs. I mean, don't get me wrong, the Dodgers were favored to make some noise this year, don't get me wrong. But they did not win over 100 games this year. They were not looked at as the biggest threat in the National League, and they went 9-1 in the National League, sweeping the Reds, going 3-1 against the Phillies in a best-of-5 series, and then sweeping the Brewers. I mean, and Ohtani having a game for the ages, pitching and hitting to clinch the World Series trip. For the American League, we don't know because we're filming on Monday, but Game 7. Well, yes, we've reached Game 7 of the ALCS is tonight between the Seattle Mariners and Toronto Blue Jays, and it's going to be interesting. And I hate to say it, Bob, but the way the Dodgers are playing, it might not matter. I mean, it's going to be I mean, because the one thing I will say about this Dodgers team that we didn't see in the regular season, because they had a lot of injuries during the season. They did. And the one thing they have going for them is they are the healthiest they have been all year, including their starting pitching, which is Blake Snell, Yamamoto, Tyler Glasnow, and Shohei Ohtani. And then their star rookie got switched to closer for the playoffs, and he's unstoppable. They can't figure it. And so that's what I'm saying. Like if the way they tore through the National League, I have the Dodgers winning in 5 regardless who wins tonight. I don't know about you, but that's my prediction here. I don't think we'll see a Game 6 or 7. I think anybody looking for
Well, we know that the series will start out in the National League Park, so Dodgers will have the first 2 games.
Right.
Then the next 3 will go back to the American League, and then if it goes that far.
Right.
And then the last 2 will be back in Dodger Stadium, because this is the year that they rotate every year now. It used to be whoever won the All-Star game got the home field in the World Series. Well, they did away with that, and they just rotate them now. Next year, the American League will have the home field advantage.
I don't like it, and you don't like it either.
I like it when they played for something.
Right.
But they got to the point that the American League won like eight in a row.
Yeah, but I mean, they outplayed them at the end of the day, So that'll be it. So we are expected, by the time you hear this, you'll know the matchup, but there will be World Series baseball this weekend, but a lot's going on. But that being said, I'm
be honest with you, I'm rooting for Seattle because of the fact that they have never been to a World Series.
Right.
But then again, I think on paper, the Blue Jays are a better team.
Right.
So.
Well, I'm curious too, because if the Blue Jays go, this will be the first Mark Shapiro team to make the World Series. We talk about the almost in 2007 with the Cleveland, because that's, for those that don't know, he's the former Indians manager and president. And they were the Indians at the time, for the record, when he was with them. And he left right when they were heating up in the Francona era, which I always found interesting. I get more money, better ownership. Let's be honest. I mean, Blue Jays spent money. But it took a while for him to get some of his pieces together for that team. and they did meet Cleveland in the 16 ALCS, and Cleveland beat them, and then they never were able to get back until now. So that will be interesting too, to see a Mark Shapiro team in the World Series if they do indeed win tonight. So. But no, it's cool to see the ALCS went to Game 7, because between the two teams, I think I had Blue Jays by an edge, but I said Seattle could win it. I mean, they're both very similar teams. They really are, and we said that when the series began, and now here we are.
Like I said, I'm rooting for Seattle, but
yeah. Before we get into football, we do have some minor Guardians news to share. Of course, people are demanding, fans and the plain dealer we mentioned in a previous show, about spending more money because of Jose Ramirez and his time here.
I think Jose is a little upset.
Oh yeah, he rightfully so. I mean,
because of the fact that he kind of took a pay cut. He could have got a hell of a lot more money.
He took a $150 million pay cut,
thinking that they were going to use the money to bring in a better hitting and stuff like that. Well, they didn't do that.
No.
And Jose could probably opt out of his contract in a couple of years.
Right.
If he really wanted to. I'm sure that's in there.
A couple of years, he'll be past his prime by then.
Well,
but we don't want to see that. But I will bring up, Dolan kind of recognized the chatter and said, we'll look into what we could do, whatever. And then he turns around, he gave Austin Hedges a $4 million deal.
I did see that.
And I thought...
Well, you know what? I think Austin is more of a clubhouse guy.
Yeah.
The guys all love him in the clubhouse. And there's certain pitchers that want him to catch for them.
Right.
And that's another reason why. But Austin, $4 million is a lot of money in our look, but it really ain't a lot of money in their world.
No. I think they only keep half of that, if I'm right, because of taxes. So that'd be $2 million technically. But this is, like you said, clubhouse guy, defensive too. That's
he's not a bat that we'll say Bo Naylor has.
Right.
I mean, Bo Naylor.
Yeah, Bo Naylor. Yeah, you're right.
But he's a better defensive catcher than Bo Naylor.
Nothing's going to get past him behind that bag, but Bo Naylor's the other thing, is he needs to work on that. They both need to work on their average. Austin was like a 180 guy, and Naylor was a 220.
Naylor was low 200s.
Yeah. Yeah, but he had more power. He had a home run in that win against Detroit in the playoffs there, so that showed up there. And then, of course, you have David Fry for an emergency catcher if need be. But again, that guy, he's also not known for defense like he is with Hedges, but
Hedges, like I said, he's a clubhouse guy. Right. He knows how to talk to the young guys, because he's a little older than the other guys.
Right. And I will say, for whatever reason, and we brought this up a few weeks ago, Hedges was one of the top hitters in Major League Baseball that drew more walks against Tarik Skubal than anybody else. And I don't know why, but he was 18% of his walks. And he doesn't walk much. That's the thing. And now they are, because he's a free agent, and it was brought up, the Mets want to talk to him. And, the Mets will shove out somebody. So he might be gone out of the division. And that he did mention before the collapse and Cleveland took the Central, he was upset with Detroit at the time. So he wasn't getting enough run support or whatever it was, But it has been brought up that he is going to be pursued in free agent. As I would imagine, he is a very good pitcher, but Detroit needs to find a way to retain him. But if he's gone, that's going to help Cleveland out in the long run.
Maybe Cleveland get him.
That would be something. That would be.
I don't know about the money. I don't know if Cleveland got the
money.
But
if they poached him, oh my goodness, just imagine that would be so. I mean, it's a thought. They don't know what he's going to ask.
Because we do need a good third or fourth starting pitcher.
Well, he'd be number one.
He'd be number one. But I'm just saying we do need to get a pitcher or two that. And we don't say our pitching staff ain't bad.
No,
we had a really good year. And he kept us in a lot of games. But when if you score 3 runs. If we can get 3 runs, our pitching staff will hold us in there. But we just didn't hit.
Right.
We left more guys on base than we did any other team in major leagues.
Right.
In scoring position.
Right. I did read it came MLB Trade Rumors, which is a legit source for the record. It's not just rumors. Did report Guardians were looking for a outfield upgrade with the bat and everything. And I did say, I think we talked about this briefly last week, it did surprise me because I think their outfield is in a situation to be loaded with young, ready-to-go prospects now, where I would upgrade somewhere else. And we did talk before we started filming that you think Josh Naylor potentially could be the big contract if they sign anybody to a big contract in the offseason. And that would be more first base. But I told you I can see that, But we'll see where he likes Seattle, and we'll see. Bob, there's always that chance. This would be wild. Let's pretend Toronto, no matter what happens, Toronto loses Seattle, Toronto beats Seattle. There's a chance he gets pursued by Toronto, saying, "Look, you're Canadian-born. We like you."
I can see that too.
Yeah,
'cause he's Canadian by birth. Yeah.
And they will pay up. This Toronto front office. I mean, they were second. They were in front of the Angels, behind the Dodgers to get Shohei Ohtani. So there was enough money on the table to convince him to consider. And then I guess Roki Sasaki seriously considered Toronto too when he was evaluating teams. So they will shovel out money. So whatever Naylor's prices could be met in Toronto as well. But I just think their outfield's in better shape going into this spring training right now, which we're in October, so we're not even talking spring training. But it
won't be long.
Yeah, no, it'll be here before you know it. It really will.
It won't be long. February.
Right. But I think it's in better shape now than it was at this time last year. We haven't even gone to the World Series yet as far as the MLB schedule goes. But I will mention one more thing about the Guards before we switch to our high school game of the week. You'll hear me say this now. You'll hear me say this later when we talk about pitching. I'm calling it Danny Espino is going to get a shot for that rotation this spring. I'm not saying he's going to be for sure in the opening day roster. He could be, but I'm telling you they're going to get because. I know he's faced some injuries, but he came back. He pitched the last Rubber Ducks game. He looked exactly where he left off. I mean, he was that good. And this is a kid. They refused to trade him. They could have traded him for Juan Soto. They could have traded him for any other big piece. And I'm not exaggerating. There was conversations. But they really like this guy. He's been compared to Jake DeGrom. He's been compared to that Yankees pitcher that slipped in my mind, Garrett Cole.
Garrett Cole?
Yeah, I mean, to both. They said he could be your next multi-winner Cy Young for Cleveland since Kluber. They're very high. This is not just Cleveland. This is Major League Baseball scouts all over the place. So just watch out for that name because he could potentially skip AAA. They could say, look, we looked at you in spring. You look healthy. You look ready to go. You want to just take a shot, be our fourth or fifth starter, and see what happens. So, I mean, and if he becomes what they think he's going to become, and then imagine getting Tarek Skubal on top of that. Hypothetically.
Yeah, well, I'd like to throw some money out there and get him. But the Dolans, we're a small market team, Right. And like it or not, we are a small market team. We don't have them. And the Dolans, yes, they're millionaires.
Billionaires. Yeah.
Well, everybody in Major League that owns a Major League franchise is a billionaire. Yeah. But he's not one of the top money guys in MLB. Right. I mean, not with the LAs and the Chicagos and the even the New Yorks. Right.
I think they were more upset. I don't think they're looking for the $30 million a year contract. I think they were more upset that last year he didn't do anything. They traded away guys, and then on top of it, it's being pointed out.
Well, I'm all for trading guys away if you don't think you're going to be able to keep them at the end of the year and try to get something for them now.
Right.
And that's what they did with Josh Naylor. But I really believe Josh Naylor is going to come back. He'll want to play with his brother.
Right. He loved it here in Cleveland.
He loved Cleveland.
They were pointing out, too, look at Toronto. A quarter of that team was former Guardians. And look at how well they're playing in the playoffs. We're talking Andres Jimenez, Ernie Clement.
Even Bieber.
Yeah, Bieber. There's one outfielder briefly played for Cleveland in 2017. He's been up and down minor league, major league, and he's with Toronto right now in the outfield. He started most of this year. I can't think of his name. Briefly, it was.
He wasn't there very long.
No, and he's been a key. He's been a key.
Did he come up in the Cleveland organization?
Yeah, huh? he briefly. We're talking 3 to 7 games he played.
I mean, did he come in our minor league system?
Yeah.
Well, Cleveland's always.
He was drafted by Shapiro, so he's 31 years old. He's not.
Our minor league system's always been good.
Right. So there you go. Hey, we got to turn to high school games. So watch out for the World Series matchups this weekend. By this time next week, we could even have a winner. Yeah. So we'll find out. And when I mean this time, I mean we're shooting on Monday, so maybe next Monday, but we'll see. So we had Mogador shut out Aquinas this past week, 33-0. So you did that game. We will have a game on Fifth Dimension Radio this week, but you said subject to change.
Subject to change. As of right now, it's the Springfield versus Woodridge game. That's subject to change, though. We're in line to get a couple other teams maybe that would like to come in, but Springfield and Woodridge are on the schedule right now. So,
and you've catered to both teams already this year.
Yeah, that's the reason why we was thinking about moving to another school. We got feeders out there. We just haven't heard nothing back from the ADs and stuff. So.
Follow the Fifth Dimension Radio page on Facebook
page. We will be as soon as we find out something, we'll be announcing it.
Yeah.
So.
And 10 Cent Beer Night will share that announcement as well. Again, but pregame will be 6:45 p.m. Eastern time, as it always is. 7 p.m. kickoff. So watch out for that.
And after this is week 10.
Yep.
We have already decided that week 11 we are going to take a break. And week 12, we will be doing the Mogador Wildcats playoff games.
Okay, nice.
We will be doing their first home game. If they win, it'll be a second home game. After that, we'll have to see about the regional and the state playoff. Those are little things that I have to get the state. I have to be involved with the state to do that.
Right.
But we'll do at least probably 1, possible 2 Mogador Wildcat playoff games. So, because they'll have at least 2 home games. So
yeah, and they tend to win in the playoffs too. I mean, this is one of the most consistent, smaller football programs.
That's already set. Yeah, that's already set. So
good. No, that's.
But we
cool.
will be taking week 11 off to give these guys, Bob and Ron and Chris and Roger, at least a weekend off.
That'll be cool. But
Bob sits there after the Friday night games, he comes home and he starts working on getting it ready for the YouTube channel, WAOH TV. I mean, Bob spends the whole weekend working on this thing. We got to give him a weekend off.
I agree. He works very, very hard for us there. So, there you go. So just subject to change, but I get even by the time they hear this, there might be an announcement up and ready too. So
well, I'm hoping to hear something by later on tonight or first thing tomorrow morning. So
there you go. We gotta take a break. When we cut back, our college football recap and see what the matchups are this coming week. Again, Ohio State won, and then on top of that, our Cleveland Cavaliers start this week. We will talk about that and more. Stay tuned. Welcome back to 10 Cent Beer Night on FifthDimensionRadio.com. I'm Seth.
I'm Bob.
And Bob, here's our list of top 25 teams that lost this past weekend. And Bob, it's a lengthy list.
I know. I know a lot of top teams got beat.
All right. We'll start with last Friday, October 17th. Unranked Louisville. Now they're probably ranked. I'll get you the updates here in a sec. But beat number 2 Miami. 24-21. They're both 5-1 right now.
And we sat at Roma's Pizzeria after the Mogador game on Friday night and watched that game.
And there you go. I mean, Carson Beck, top quarterback prospect for the NFL, threw 4 interceptions in that game there. Number 25, Nebraska. You know, we've been raving about them, Bob, all year about how they're going the right direction. They lost to Minnesota 24-6, and they're both 5-2 now. Number 17, Vanderbilt beat number 10 LSU 31-24 in an SEC rival matchup. Vanderbilt is now 6-1. LSU is now 5-2. Let me see. Number 5, Ole Miss lost to University of Georgia 43-35. number 9 Georgia, if I didn't mention. So they're both in top 10. So Miss will drop a bit. Georgia will move up. And watch out for Georgia now all of a sudden being 6-1, back in that top conversation. Coming playoff time there. Arizona State upsets another top 25 foe after the beating number 7 Texas Tech 26-22. And Arizona State is 5-2 and Texas Tech is 6-1. And UAB with Chris Mortensen's son now coaching the team beats number 22 Memphis 31-24. UAB got him as Mortensen as an intern over this past week, and that was a huge win. UAB almost lost to Akron. They barely edged out Akron, I should say. Yeah. And Memphis now drops to 6-1 there after their loss. Let me see here. There was another one here. Yeah, number 13 Notre Dame beats number 20 USC 34-24. They're both 5-2. Number 6 Bama beats number 11 Tennessee 37-20. Watch out for Bama now. 6-1. All of a sudden, they're looking back into their old habits of winning.
Look like the old Bear Bryant days.
Yeah, absolutely. Or the Saban days, whatever you want to say.
But Bear Bryant. He was a better coach.
You think he was better? Number 15 BYU beat number 23 Utah 24-21. BYU 7-0. Okay, so going to the new rankings now. Indiana's your new number 2. Okay.
Indiana's number 2.
Indiana's your new number 2 now.
Hey.
Ohio State's number 1. Of course, they won this past week, and then you have Texas A&M 3, Alabama 4. I'll just name the top 10. Georgia's 5, Oregon 6, Georgia Tech is 7. Ole Miss is 8, Miami, Florida dropped to 9, and Vanderbilt is number 10. And I mentioned BYU 7-0. They did jump to number 11 there. Unfortunately, Team Up North has joined the top 25 again after their win this past week. And unranked teams that joined the top 25, Louisville's number 19 now, and Arizona State, also with their upset, is now 24 there. So
you got 2 Big Ten teams, number 1 and number 2, huh?
Yeah. You have 1, 2, 3. I'm looking in the top just 25 here. 4, 5. You have 5 in the top 25, and USC barely missed it. So there you go there. For the Big Ten this past week, mentioned Minnesota beating Nebraska there. Ohio State shut out Wisconsin 34-0. That Julian Sand gets better and better every week, I swear. Team Up North beat Washington in Ann Arbor 24-7. Northwestern shut out Purdue 19-0. Purdue drops to 2-5. Northwestern is 5-2. Bob, if you told me Purdue would be 2-5 the first 7 weeks and Northwestern would be 5-2, I would say you're really wishing there. No, this is reality.
You're dreaming.
Northwestern's playing better ball now. Your new number 2 Indiana beat Michigan State 38-13. Oregon beat up Rutgers 56-10. UCLA wins their 3rd straight game, beat Maryland 20-17. And on top of that, Bob, Penn State lost their 4th straight game. Iowa 25-24. Iowa's 5-2. Penn State's 3-4. If you would have told me Northwestern was going to be better than Penn State, I would have probably asked you to take a drug test.
Penn State fired their coach after the game.
Penn State fired them last week.
Yeah, last week.
Yeah, and their starting quarterback is down too. But I mean,
And I guess there's some big name coaches that are looking. Somebody said that the Nebraska coach was looking to go that route.
He could. I mean, better recruits. I also heard Deion Sanders' name got dropped from
Penn State.
And
he's still out of Colorado.
Yep, and they're okay, But again, Penn State. I mean, it's a sexier look for recruits. Notre Dame, and I mentioned Notre Dame beat USC. So your Big Ten games of this week here, all Saturday. We have no weekday Big Ten games. Noon on Fox, UCLA at number 2 Indiana, and number 2 Indiana is 24.5-point favorites. Noon on Fox Sports 1. Northwestern at Nebraska. Nebraska's only 7.5-point favorites. That one could be a good one there. Noon on Big Ten Network. This one could be a good one too. Rutgers at Purdue. Both teams are not playing very well, but Rutgers is 2.5 points favorites being the away team. So it could be one of those, like the Browns this past week, 1-5 teams that duked it out. Now, Purdue's got 2 wins in their defense, but still. 3:30 p.m. on Big Ten Network, number 23, Illinois at Washington. Washington are 4.5-point favorites, believe it or not. 3:30 p.m. on CBS and Paramount Plus, Minnesota at Iowa. Iowa's 8.5-point favorites there. 7 p.m. on Fox Sports 1, Wisconsin at number 6, Oregon. It does not have the spread there, but I would predict Oregon would be the favorite there. 7:30 p.m. on NBC, we have our classic Michigan matchup for the Big Ten year that happens this time of the year. Number 25 Team Up North will be at Michigan State, and Team Up North is 14-point favorites. Your Ohio State Buckeyes are off this coming
bye week, huh?
Bye week. Remember, they get 2 bye weeks in college, so this is their second bye week there.
And I think after the bye week, they come home to Penn State.
Oh, well, then they're going to roll.
Yeah.
At that point there. Your match scores from this past Saturday. Akron came back. They were in it the entire time and then gave up a kick return touchdown after it was 35-28 after a field goal by Akron. Kickoff return touchdown by Ball State pretty much sealed it, and Ball State won 42-28. Akron falls to 2-6, and Ball State is 3-4, and that one is not going to help Moorhead's.
I'm telling you, I really believe he's going after this season.
We'll see. I mean, that game hurt. That game. So we did have upsets though in the MAC, and that includes Central Michigan beat Bowling Green 27-6. And Bowling Green's been playing very well the first few weeks of the season. And Central Michigan is now 4-3. Bowling Green is now 3-4. Eastern Michigan loses at Miami of Ohio 30-44. Eastern Michigan falls to 2-6. Miami, Ohio is now 4-3. Kent State gets beat up by Toledo in Toledo. We kind of saw that one coming. Toledo won 45-10 to improve to 4-3. Kent is now 2-5. UMass had the lead the majority of the game. Buffalo comes back and wins 28-21 in Massachusetts, and UMass is 0-7. I mean, but they had the lead the majority of the game. I cannot stress, like, that was their game to lose.
This is the first year of UMass being in the MAC.
Yeah, and Buffalo's now 4-3. And speaking of first year in the MAC, the last year in the MAC for Northern Illinois, it might be a good thing. They're 1-6 after losing 48-21 in Athens against Ohio. And Ohio U is now 4-3 there. So
I wonder who Northern Illinois got their win. Who they beat? No, I don't have to look it up.
Yeah, we mentioned it like a few weeks ago. Yeah. I remember reading it.
Was it a MAC loss? Win?
I think it was
it might have been against UMass.
It might have been a Division II win, or something like that. Like it was. I think it was a smaller school there. Week 9 in the MAC, all Saturday, and don't get used to. I think this is the last time of the year.
I know. I don't think.
I'll look ahead.
I think we got a Tuesday game coming up pretty soon.
We have
a Thursday game coming up.
I'll ruin it here. All Saturday this week. Week 10, there's only 2 games, and they're on Saturday. And then week 11, I'm gonna let it load up here. That's when the weekday games start. So this is the last.
And for you out there want to know why they're playing on a weekday, ESPN picks these games up.
Right.
It's a money thing.
Right.
Right. You make money.
Well, and then the big deal is, what was it? It started last week. I think maybe in October 12th. From October 12th to November 25th from college to NFL, there's games every day.
Every night of the week.
Yeah.
Every night of the week there's a game. And ESPN Plus, ESPN 2, One, all the ES channels will have a game. So, which is great, but I just don't like seeing college football on a weeknight. It's traditionally it's a Saturday.
Right. I have mixed feelings about it, but we're so used to it that it
we're used to it because the Mid-American don't get no respect anyway.
Right. So we give them respect. So here's your games for Week 9 in the MAC. Noon on CBS Sports Network. Ohio at Eastern Michigan. Ohio is 12.5-point favorites there. Noon on ESPN Plus. Bowling Green goes to Dick Stadium to play the Kent State Flashes and Golden Flashes, excuse me. And Bowling Green is 8.5-point favorites there. 1 p.m. on ESPN Plus. Akron goes to Buffalo, and Buffalo is 8.5-point favorites there. This is a game I wouldn't rule out Zips having a chance, but I mean they got to show up. They got to, and I know they've been having a hard time putting away any kind of road wins under the Moorhead era. 3:30 p.m. on ESPN Plus. UMass, at Central Michigan. Central Michigan's 15.5-point favorites. 3:30 p.m. on ESPN Plus. Ball State at Northern Illinois. Northern Illinois, believe it or not, is 5.5-point favorites. 3:30 p.m. on ESPN Plus. Western Michigan at Miami of Ohio. Miami of Ohio is 2.5-point favorites. 3:30 p.m. on the CW. Toledo at Washington State. So a non-MAC.
Non-MAC. Well, yeah. You got to remember there's only 13 schools in the American Conference.
Right. And Washington State is 1.5-point favorites there. So that's your.
That's on the CW.
Yep, that's on the CW this week. There.
Channel 55 on my cable.
There you go. So got 5 minutes left of this segment here. We're going to switch gears, Bob, real quick. By the time you hear this, the first games will already be played, but the NBA starts Tuesday, October 21st, with Houston and Oklahoma City hosted by NBC's doing both games. NBC's doing basketball again for the first time in years. So you have the Houston Rockets with a new addition, Kevin Durant, against the defending champion Oklahoma City. I almost said Warriors. Thunder, excuse me. The Golden State Warriors will be at the Los Angeles Lakers here.
I heard LeBron ain't playing that game.
He's not playing the first month of the season. He's out the first month. So it's going to be Luka Doncic versus Steph Curry there. Wednesday, everybody else plays, including your Cleveland Cavaliers, will be on ESPN. They will be in New York to play the Knicks.
They started the season out last year playing the Knicks.
It
just seems like they always start the season out with the Knicks.
It was Toronto there for a while. Then last year it was the Knicks. And then actually it may have been Toronto last year too. The Knicks was game 2. But yeah, so your Cavs games for this week, and it's good to say that again for the record. The New York Knicks, they're at New York against the Knicks on Wednesday. So they're playing right now as we're talking on ESPN there. Friday they stay in New York. They're going to go to Brooklyn. And they're going to play the Nets. That will be on FanDuel at 7:30 p.m. Their first home game is Sunday versus Giannis Antetokounmpo in the Milwaukee Bucks, 6 p.m. on FanDuel network there. And speaking of Milwaukee Bucks, the Milwaukee Bucks this past weekend waived Akronite Chris Livingston.
Are you kidding me? I did not hear that.
Now, because Cavs had a 2-man roster spot open. So I said, well, could it be Cleveland? There hasn't been a report yet, but there is an agency that announced that they're and I would have to, I'm trying to find the kid's name. But there was he played in Europe last year. He's not European. He played collegiate ball in the States. But there's an agency claiming the Cavs have agreed to a 2-way deal with him, but the major networks have not reported it. Neither have the local. So I don't know what's true, what's not, but I was kind of hoping Chris Livingston would take, that last 2-way player spot there.
But is Livingston overseas right now?
No, he's just waiting for his next opportunity there. Going to pull up ESPN's predictions for the year.
I did not hear that about Ricky Freeman. I'll tell you
not Freeman, Chris Livingston.
Oh, Livingston's got wavered.
Yeah, Livingston. Yeah, Freeman's still with Minnesota.
Okay,
yeah.
That's what I was worried about.
Yeah, no.
All right, good. Because I'm going up to the game when Minnesota comes to town. I want to see my boy.
There you go. Yeah, he's on a 2-way contract, so we'll see there.
He'll be there.
Yeah,
I gotta find out who Minnesota's G League team is.
I'm trying to remember from the top of my head there, but I did predict because we don't have a lot of time. So just real quick, we could probably touch on that a bit later here, but I mean it's going to be an interesting because with Cleveland they're in a good position right now. Off-season upgrades. They did trade for Lonzo Ball. They traded away Isaac Okoro to get him. and that was a backup point guard upgrade. The thing is, he's only going to play every other game because of injury, so they got to watch him. So Craig Porter Jr. is going to have more backup point guard responsibility, especially now. Darius Garland's going to start off the season on the injury because he had that surgery on his toe. However, he is ahead of schedule. They said they're doing end of practice 5-on-5, and he has participated in all of that. So that's a good sign. They don't have a timetable. So your starting lineup for the Cavs, because Max Strus is out till January because he had a slight break in his calf. Actually, I think it was something in his foot. It wasn't his calf. I'm trying to go by memory here, but he had to have urgent surgery, and he's out till January. So your starting lineup's gonna be Donovan Mitchell will move to point guard. Sam Merrill, who signed a contract extension in the offseason, will be your shooting guard. DeAndre Hunter will now be small forward because of Max Strus' injury. Your defensive player of the year, Evan Mobley, will be power forward, and your center is going to be Jared Allen. Allen did say he played all 82 games last year. He said he will not do that again this year. He will want a couple games off just to rest and be more fresh for the playoffs and everything. They did add Thomas Bryant, who was with Indiana last year. The nice thing, Bob, Atkinson has kind of a spread offensive system where everybody does a little bit of everything. Bryant didn't get to shoot as many threes with Indiana. He's got a three-point shot for a big man, and he was hitting them all over the place in the preseason. Speaking of big man, they also brought back Larry Nance Jr., who is expected to play. And that is, I think, Bob, that's the thing I really like about this offseason. I've asked this team several times, you got to add more depth in the big man and give your big guys some breathing room. Okay, give them some rest during the game. Yeah. They finally did that with the Larry Nance and Thomas Bryant acquisitions.
I like the idea Nance is back.
Yeah. I mean, when he's healthy, he's underrated. He does a little bit of both on both sides of the floor. The rebounding, the score. I mean, he's got a good outside shot, too. His brother did make Milwaukee's two-way player contract in their team there, Pete Nance. So he's.
Well, how long do you think Donovan Mitchell is going to be out?
No, not Garland.
Garland. I don't know what I'm thinking. I'm thinking of Donovan Mitchell.
The early reports were saying January. Now they're saying he could be back late November. But it might be earlier because he says he feels really good and he's back at practice. They just don't want to rush it.
But he is practicing and stuff.
Yeah.
So that means he's on the foot.
He says his foot has been 100% since this. He wanted to. He had a charity softball game. They asked him not to play in it just in case, but he could have if he wanted to. He said. So I mean,
yeah. Like I said, get him back on the court.
Right. So, hey, we'll talk about that and more coming up. Browns won! So, we'll talk about that, our NFL predictions, and more. Stay tuned. All right, welcome to our last segment, 10 Cent Beer Night here today. I'm Seth.
I'm Bob.
Real quick, I did pull up NBA season predictions via New York Times, just to give you a breakdown of what the teams.
New York Times?
And I need to pick one.
Well, they got the Knicks to win it all.
No,
New York.
This is just standing predictions.
Yeah, liberal city. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't be political. Sorry.
Yeah. Anyway, so here's their standing predict, and I'm just going by that just to tell you how the teams are looking going into the year. For the Eastern Conference, they do have the Cavaliers being the top seed again. They have them at 59 wins. I mentioned the Cavaliers' additions of Lonzo Ball
over the Knicks and the Nets.
Yep.
Wow.
I'm trying to think if I'm missing any other additions for the Cavs. Most of the team is still there from last year, even in their two-way contracts. They did separate from a couple of smaller names there, like Imani Bates and whatnot. And we wish him. I think he went to the 76ers as far as two ways go. But they did add a couple draft picks, and they'll be in the mix as well. But Cavaliers are going to have a strong chemistry going into the season. I don't think you're going to see a lot of changes there. Number 2, they have the Orlando Magic. Okay. And Orlando, it's a toss-up, and this is why. Very talented team, healthy team going into the season. They were banged up early last season. That's what brought them down to the 7th seed last year, and they played very well the second half of the season. They did trade for Desmond Bane of the Memphis Grizzlies, one of a very high-scoring player in the league. And the question is, how is he going to gel and fit in Orlando? If it works out right away, I could see them being the number 2 seed. I personally have them as like 3 or 4, but they could definitely be in the conversation number 2 if they could stay out to get together. They have the Knicks and the Hawks tied for 3rd. Okay, Knicks, had a big offseason the prior offseason. This year they had a couple names like Jordan Clarkson, and there's a couple other bench guys. The names they added the previous season gelled well with the roster, and I think will continue to do so. I think the Knicks will definitely be. I don't think they'll go lower than 3rd, in my opinion. Here's the big one. They hired former Cleveland Cavalier coach Mike Brown. I think they'll do well in the regular season. How well will they do in the playoffs with him? They kind of settled for him, Bob. It's like there was other guys they were looking at, or they made a move too late, and they were just like, you know what, we need somebody, so we're going to go with this 2-time or 3-time NBA Coach of the Year award winner. He had 2 stints with the Cavs. He had 1 with the Lakers and 1 with the Kings. He recently was fired from the Kings last year, and Kings were a mess in his defense. So Hawks I have as a dark horse team. Good young roster. Trae Young getting better and better with age. They had that first overall pick. Rocher, I can't really say his name. He's a French guy they had, not this past year, but the year before. And he's going to get better. But there's a lot to like about the Hawks going into this season there. Number 5, they have the Pistons. I can see that with J.B. Bickerstaff. They're going to continue to get better as they were last year. They made the playoffs. 6, Milwaukee Bucks. Bucks concerned about Giannis Antetokounmpo's future. Will he walk or not? They did add Miles Turner in the offseason. They didn't really add much more than that. Tied 7, they have the Miami Heat and the Toronto Raptors. Heat made some moves, but they didn't really get better. They're banking on that trade they made with Miami in the trade deadline Golden State in the trade deadline last year to really, really improve the team this year. But they didn't. I don't think they had an offseason where I could say they got better. Toronto, however, it's the same thing. Trade deadline last year, they got Brandon Ingram, but he was out for the entire season. Now he's coming back healthy. They did use some draft picks. They look better on paper than they have the past couple years, so I can see it realistically be a 7 team there. They have the Bulls 9th, okay? It's going to be a toss-up. You know what I mean? It's a young team that is slowly getting better, but we'll see what all they bring to the table there. They have the Sixers 10th. I think the Sixers will be better if Embiid's healthy. If Embiid is healthy, this is a top 5 team. I think Embiid will be healthy. Paul George will push to be healthier too. That sounds weird, but I do think when teams are bad, certain star players kind of are a little careless. They're like, you know what, I'll sit out for health reasons, this and that. And I think we saw that last year with some players on the 76ers. If Embiid is supposed to be healthy to start the season, I think if he can stay healthy and be the player we know he can be, the Sixers will be higher than this there. But they have the Celtics 11th, missing the playoffs. That's a possibility for those that don't follow and are confused. Jason Tatum's out for the season. He said he might push back to come back late in the season if they're in the playoff position. But it's kind of risky given the injury he had. They did make some trades to get younger, and they got some younger budding star talent. But if they took 1 year to be a lottery team and get Jason Tatum some help, that might not be a bad thing. They have the Pacers 12th. I think that's a little harsh. I mean, they are missing Tyrese Halliburton, but they still have the rest of their team.
They should be higher than that.
They'll be in the playoff. I think no lower than 6. So I know I'm sounding weird because they're like, okay, Seth, you have the Cavaliers, the Magic, the Knicks. You have the Hawks as a dark horse. You have the Pistons in it, but you also have the Sixers and Pacers in it. I think that's generally you're going to be in your top 8 right there. That's what I'm trying to say. Nets, they did add Porter from the Nuggets this past year, but they used a lot of draft picks. They got younger. It's going to be a rough year for the Nets. Hornets, I think, will be better than 25 wins if they can stay healthy. Wizards, it's going to be another. I can see Wizards with 20-some wins. They have them at 16. I don't think it's going to be that bad. They did make some moves to make themselves better since trade deadline and the off season. It's just not going to be a playoff year, you know. In the Western Conference, they have Thunder being first defending champs. Yep, they improved their team with, again, lottery draft picks they traded for in the past that ended up being lottery. Thunder front office is just brilliant. I mean, I would say them and Kobe Altman of the Cavs are the best in the league. They have the Clippers going second. That's, I say top 5 in the West. I'm not saying second here, okay? They did get Paul George back. James Harden had a good year with them last year. They did add Bradley Beal. I don't see them second here. Warriors third, I think that's a little bit of a reach to it. Yes, they have Jimmy Butler and everything, and I think they'll be better than last year, but I don't think they'll be third. They have the Nuggets fourth. Give me the Nuggets second. I think consistent, good. They have Cameron Johnson now, which was their addition for small forward. I think they'll be better than last year. Timberwolves fifth. I think they'll be better than last year. Added Enrique Freeman, Bob, as we mentioned. They're trying him at small forward there. Not the big addition; it's investment. But I think they're
I think given the opportunity, Ricky can shine.
Right. Lakers 6. That one's going to be a toss-up. LeBron's out the first month. They really didn't add anybody in the offseason since the Luka trade. Spurs 7th. Spurs, there's injuries. That's why. But if De'Aaron Fox can get healthy, along with Wembanyama and the young stars they drafted, Spurs could be better. But again, it's their first full year without Popovich on the sideline. He's in the front office now. They have the Rockets 8th. I find that hysterical. They added Kevin Durant, and they have them going from the first seed of the West to the 8th. I'm not going to say they're wrong, though. Dallas Mavericks, they have 9th. Mavericks have the first overall pick in Cooper Flagg. Kyrie Irving out till January, but they have Anthony Davis. They have other players that are going to play very well for them. Memphis Grizzlies 10th. Probably true. Memphis made some moves. They're not rebuilding, but they might need take a year, kind of add some more young talent to the roster around Ja Morant. But they are trying to change things up there. Sacramento Kings 11th. Kings are weird. They're a mess. They're the Cleveland Browns of the NBA.
What? We won this week.
I know, but Kings will win too. But how they handle the roster is weird. They have the Suns 12th with former Cavs assistant Kevin Ott. They'll probably need a year. I don't expect them to make the playoffs. New Orleans Pelicans, they have 13th. That's a toss-up. They're either going to do really well this year or they're going to be there at 13th. Blazers 14th. Blazers are headed the right direction but need another year. Utah Jazz 15th. Utah's expected to be a lottery team. And Utah Jazz scouts said over the weekend, because they're looking at potentially being a top 5 pick, they think Darren Peterson, Cuyahoga Falls native, Canton, Ohio born, going to Kansas. They're calling him the next Donovan Mitchell. He's on their target list. Mm-hmm. So, something to look at.
So he could be a 1 and out.
He could be the first overall pick, Bob. Yeah, so he'll be 1 and out there. So, real quick, the Cleveland Browns win this past week, 31-6. They got over 20 points. The defense did not allow a touchdown. Daniel and Gabriel did not turn over the ball. Kevin Stefanski called a good game, and they had 4 turnovers, including 3 interceptions, and they blitzed more. This was one of the best performances I've seen in a while.
I just hope they play like that against New England next week.
We'll get to that in a sec, but overall, I give them a grade A all over the ball. I mean, special teams had a couple field goals and forced a turnover, a fumble there. Defense, excellent. Myles Garrett asked Jim Schwartz to blitz more, and he said, okay, we'll try it. Well, it worked. So let's do that again. Let's do that again. They ran the ball more. Judkins had 85 yards, 3 touchdowns. Let me tell you, Bob, I know we missed Nick Chubb, but he's beating Nick Chubb's rookie records all over the place, and he's beating Brown's rookie records all over the place. I mean, they got and I told people when they drafted him, they got a special player, and we're seeing it now.
I mean, he did a good job, and he's playing good.
Him and Delpit helped carry the wins. I think my favorite play there, Bob, he breaks for that 46-yard touchdown, and he juked Minkah Fitzpatrick that hit Chubb low in that Steelers game and kind of hurt Chubb's career. And Fitzpatrick falls to the ground, and he's hurt. And all the Browns fans were like, we don't cheer for injuries usually, but that was an exception. And we were just like, There you go. How's it?
Bad sportsmanship.
Hey, he got up. He got up, but you know what? He's been burned by a Buckeye before. That 85-yard touchdown against Ezekiel Elliott did in the Sugar Bowl against Alabama. True freshman Minkah Fitzpatrick trying to chase him down, couldn't get him, and there he is trucking around. So, yeah, I know Grant Delpit was the best player on the defense there from LSU for the Browns, and then Ohio State running back Quinshon Judkins, and most of Miami is Alabama players. So I think there was some heat going on there. They noticed. They don't forget that stuff. So they're like...
Let's just hope they play like that against New England.
They do. I hope so, too. So we're going to make our picks right now. We don't know, because we're filming on Monday, the results of the 7 p.m. game on ABC, Tampa Bay versus Detroit. I think we both picked Detroit in that.
I don't remember. Yeah, I think we did.
And 10 p.m. on ESPN, the Texans versus the Seahawks in Seattle. Expecting some rain in Seattle, your normal Seattle gloomy fall weather there. And I think I picked Seattle in that, and I think you did too. Just going by memory here. So we'll start Thursday, October 23rd, 8:15 p.m. on Amazon Network. We have the Minnesota Vikings coming off a loss against the Eagles versus the Chargers, who are coming off a bad loss against the Colts. We're in L.A. There's no spread right now reported. Bob, what are you thinking on Amazon Network? Who's going to win?
I'm going to go with Minnesota.
I'm going to go Minnesota, too. Chargers are not playing like I thought they would. And it's I know it's at home, but especially with their running back injuries, Minnesota has it going well on both sides of the ball, despite their loss recently. So I'm going to go Minnesota, too. Give me Minnesota by about 10 there. So Sunday, October 26th, no foreign game. No international game.
What?
You get to sleep in.
Oh, man.
You can go to church.
You
can go to...
That was my excuse for not going to church.
1 p.m. on Fox, the Cleveland Browns are at the New England Patriots. The Patriots are coming off we mentioned the Browns win. Patriots are coming off a big win against Tennessee in Nashville. Patriots are favored by 7 points. Bob, what do you think?
I really don't want to do it, but I'm going to take the Patriots. If Cleveland has a game like they had against Miami, they could probably end this game. I would go with Patriots.
You got two young quarterbacks. You have Drake May, the second-year guy, and Dylan Gabriel, the rookie quarterback. We are in Foxborough. Cleveland just historically has not done well there. I'm going to go Patriots by 3. I think it's going to be a very good game, but I think it's going to be one of those games where, we almost had it. Why didn't we have it? And Stefanski will hear it from the media again. But, again, like Bob said, if they play like they did this past game, they have a chance. And let me tell you, it is a young quarterback. It's not a veteran quarterback. So there is ways to psych him out. There's ways to trick him on defense and confuse him and then put pressure on him. So, but they can do it to our guy, too.
More blitz like they did last week.
Yeah, they can do it to our guy, too. And I will say they drafted Henderson, the other Buckeye, but Judkins is playing way better than Henderson at this point. So just hand the ball off there. 1 p.m. on CBS, the Miami Dolphins, coming off a bad loss against Cleveland, will be at the Atlanta Falcons, who did not have a good last drive last night against San Francisco in their loss. Atlanta, this will be on CBS, if I didn't mention that. Falcons are 7.5-point favorites. Bob, what do you think?
I gotta go Atlanta.
Me too. It's by the way, if Tua starts second straight game for Miami, it's 2 left-handed quarterbacks going at it.
Really?
This was our first one since with Gabriel and Tua since Michael Vick and Chris Sims. So now there's going to be 2 in a row. So there you go. I'm going with the Atlanta, too. They're just a better team. Bijan's going to have a good game, I think. 1 p.m. on CBS. By the way, any bye weeks? Yeah, you have a lot of bye weeks. Arizona Cardinals, Jacksonville Jaguars, Detroit Lions, Las Vegas Raiders, Los Angeles Rams, and Seattle Seahawks all will be on bye. You have the Chicago Bears coming off...
The Bears.
A win against New Orleans, and they will take on the Baltimore Ravens, who had a bye week this past week. We don't know if Lamar is starting or not. Let's say Lamar is starting just for kicks and giggles.
If Lamar starts, I'm going to take the Baltimore.
Yeah, they're favored by 7 right now.
I'll take Baltimore, but if Lamar don't start, I'd tell you that the Bears could give him a game.
Yeah.
So
if Lamar starts, give me Baltimore by 3. Baltimore's defense is not very good. I think Caleb Williams will have a good game there. But yeah, I'll say Baltimore. But if Cooper Rush starts, give me Chicago by 3. 1 p.m. on Fox, Buffalo Bills. We got to hurry up, so I'm not going to talk about this past week's game. So Buffalo Bills at Carolina Panthers. Bills are 7.5-point favorites. Bob, what do you think? Carolina's playing pretty well right now.
Yeah, but I'm going to still go with Buffalo.
Yeah, I'll go Buffalo too. I'll say it's by 6 points. I think it'll be a good game there. 1 p.m. on CBS. The winless New York Jets at the Cincinnati Bengals at 6.5-point favorites for Cincinnati and Joe Flacco. What do you think, Bob?
I'm going Cincy.
I think Flacco's got another win. He's going to beat a former team of his in the Jets there. 1 p.m. on Fox. San Francisco 49ers at the Houston Texans. We don't know the result of the Texans game, but Niners just won. Texans are 1.5-point favorites. Yeah. What do you think, Bob?
And that's in Houston?
It's in Houston.
Yeah, I'm going to go with San Francisco.
I'm going to go San Francisco too. It doesn't matter if who the quarterback is, if it's Mac Jones or Purdy. I think just Niners are the better team, and Christian McCaffrey's playing very, very well right now. So I'm going to go with that. 1 p.m. on Fox, the New York Giants, who blew an absolute game against the Denver Broncos, will be at Philly to play the Eagles. Eagles are 7-point favorites. The Giants have already beat them before, recently.
But I don't think they're going to beat them again. I'm going Philadelphia.
I'm going Philly. Give me Philly by 17. I think they're going to get revenge. 4:05 p.m. games on Fox. Baker Mayfield and Tampa Bay Buccaneers will be at the New Orleans Saints to play on Spencer Rattler, 2 Oklahoma quarterbacks. Tampa Bay is favored by 6. What do you think, Bob?
I'm going to go with Tampa.
I'm going to go with Tampa, too. They're just a better team.
They're a better team, and Baker's an MVP candidate.
Yeah. Give me Tampa by 17. I think it'll be that bad. 4:25 p.m. on CBS. Dallas Cowboys at Denver Broncos. Broncos are 3-point favorites. What do you think, Bob?
I'll go with Denver.
He's going to go with Denver. Give me Dallas in the upset. Dallas by 6 points. Dak Prescott is playing very well. But Denver gave up too much points to Giants despite the comeback. But that's how I feel. 4:25 p.m. on CBS. Tennessee Titans at the Indianapolis Colts. Colts play very well. They're 14-point favorites. Bob, what do you think?
Got to be Indianapolis.
I'm going with that, too. Tennessee fired their coach. They're a mess right now. I'm going to go Indianapolis as well. I think they can win by 20. 8:20 p.m. on NBC. Waiting all day for a Sunday night. Green Bay Packers at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Green Bay's favored by 3. Bob, what do you think?
Green Bay's at Pittsburgh?
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to go with Green Bay. I am going to go with Green Bay.
Give me Green Bay by 9. I think they'll edge them out. I think Green Bay's just
because I don't think Pittsburgh is as good. I'm telling you what, I think Cincinnati can catch Pittsburgh.
They probably could. Well, I mean, we saw in that game recently, but I just think Green Bay's the better team here. There. I mean, despite the fact Browns found a way to beat them, I think.
Yeah, and we beat them.
Monday night, 8:15 p.m. on ABC. Washington Commanders at the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs got Rashid Rice back, and he looked like his old self. What do you think, Bob? There's no spread on this right now.
I don't think there would be. Since Kansas City's home, I'll take Kansas City.
Washington, Jaden Daniels is banged up. Kansas City is looking better and better every week. I'm going to go with Kansas City, too. They're at home, and they look like themselves this past week. So I think give me Kansas City by 14.
You think it's that
17.
much?
Yeah,
I think it'd be a close game.
It's going to depend who's going to start for Washington. If Marcus Mariota starts, he's not a backup quarterback, but there's a big difference between his playmaking ability and Jaden Daniels. So there you go. That's our picks. Hey guys, when we come back next week, we'll talk about our high school game of the week. We'll talk about the Cavs. That'll be a nice change of pace. We'll talk about the Cavs. We'll talk about the World Series. We'll talk about the Browns in the NFL. We'll talk about the Zips because Buckeyes have the weekend off. And that and much more next week. Thanks for tuning in. Do some fun fall stuff. Be good to each other. And with all that being said, go Cavs. Go Browns.
Go Zips.
There you go. You guys have a good one.